Hello folks, this is Miss Roll with our Bohr model examples video. If you've not already watched the Bohr model notes, please make sure that you do that first, otherwise the examples are not going to make so much sense. So for our first example, we're going to look at hydrogen. First element of our periodic table, nice and easy. So first thing, remember our first step was to draw or write in the number of protons and the number of neutrons. So protons, as we've said, is just our atomic number. So we are going to have 1 proton. And then neutrons, remember to find that, we take our atomic mass and round it. So since we've got a 0 here after the decimal, we're going to round it just to 1. And we're going to take our mass number, right, which is the atomic number rounded, mass number minus atomic number. We got 1 minus 1, going to give us 0. So this actually has 0 neutrons. Whoops. Well, I erased that. Not sure how, but we're going to go ahead and write it in 1 and 0. Okay? So we have 1 proton, 0 neutrons, and that is all written in, drawn in here. Next step is to make sure we're looking at those electrons. So if remember, electrons are going to be the same number as our number of protons. So that means we're going to have 1 electron to draw. Now, with only 1, we're just going to be in that first energy level, that first shell outside of our nucleus. And if you remember, we kind of show the nucleus as its own contained thing. So then we'll draw our 1 electron right outside of it. And that would be our entire Bohr model for hydrogen. Super easy, super quick, but that is our Bohr model. We're going to do 2 more examples here. They will get a bit trickier as we keep going. So let's go to our next one. Next one we have boron. So same thing, we're going to start with our protons and neutrons, that are in our nucleus here. Protons are the number, the same as the number, the atomic number. So we're going to have 5 protons. And then remember, we take our atomic mass and round it. So we're going to round this to 11 because the 8 after the decimal is 5 or higher. And we take our mass number minus 5, right, which is our atomic number. And that's going to give us our number of neutrons, which is going to be 6. So I am going to go ahead and write that in. Hopefully you are experts at finding the number of neutrons at this point. And then again, our number of protons is the same as the number of electrons. So it's 5, meaning I'm going to have 2 in that first energy level. So I'm going to go ahead and draw those 2. Right? That's easy. Draw them as a pair. And then we're going to start filling the rest in our second level. So now if I had 5 total, and I've already drawn 2, I've got 3 left, right? So I'm going to start at the top. Doesn't really matter which side you start on, but you always kind of start, I start at the top every time. So that's 1, and then 2, and 3. So again, you are kind of separating them and drawing them as if they're like on 4 sides of a box here, right? Imagine there's like this box. And you start just spacing them out, 1 on each side, and then you can add a second one if you have enough electrons. But for this one, we just have the 5, so I have all of my electrons drawn, and that is my whole Bohr model for this example. All right, our last example here, we have magnesium. So again, we're starting with what is in our nucleus. So we know our atomic number here is our number of protons. And we find our number of neutrons the same way as before. This is 12. And then now we got to draw those electrons. So again, I have at least 2. Both of them can go in my first shell. Now I have 10 left. So I'm going to go ahead and start drawing them in the second shell here. And remember, we start 1 on kind of each side of that imaginary square. 3, 4. Okay, remember I had 8 more to draw on the second level. And those all should fit, because remember, our second shell can fit up to 8. You can always remember 2, 8, 8. First shell, second shell, and third shell. Right, first can only fit 2, second can fit up to 8, which is how many I need to draw to get 12 total. So I did 4 on each side. Now I'm going to start giving them a buddy. Now that they've been spaced out first, now they start getting a buddies. And I just draw them, pat them next to the ones I started with. And now I can double check, right, that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oop, Miss Roll can't count. I've only got 10 so far. So that means I need to draw 2 more. I've now filled my second shell, right, because I had 8 in it. So now I'm going to go ahead and start putting some in the third shell. So I've got 1 there, and I have 1 here. And again, remember, these are going to be spaced out. We're not going to draw them like this, right? Because we don't have 1 on each side yet. So we want to make sure we got 1 on each side before we would draw any pairs on that energy level. So now again, I can recount. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So I have the right number of electrons, and I know that I have filled my energy levels correctly. Hopefully this helps. Make sure you do some practice and have a fabulous day.